Big shout out to Bean Working Espresso down in Skyring Terrace, Newstead.
Best coffee in the game.
Best absolute coffee in the game. Hooking the Platform podcast, and any listeners up with a 10% discount.
Shout out.
Shout out to Yolanda.
Yolanda.
That was a mouthful.
Their coffee's real fucking good. Get
Best coffee in the game, by far. Just opened up Skyring Terrace. You can order ahead and mention the Platform podcast for a 10% discount. This is the Platform podcast with B-Bad and Brandon. And welcome back to... Oh, I was going to say episode, then I realised I have
Do you know what episode we're up to?
No, I did just upload the latest one. We're up to 42 on the line.
How many have we done in front of that?
We've done 41. If I uploaded
Should we be
42...
doing something for our 50th?
Yeah, we'll get there.
What if we skipped it, though, by accident? What if this is 50 and we didn't realise?
Who knows?
It's not. Jason just gave us the no-no.
Don't ask me for numbers. I've fucked up too many times.
Okay.
Fuck.
I will check that. That's actually a really good point. This could be... Oh, no, Cambo, you won't be able to check.
Just rattle off a heap of numbers and then you can
Yeah,
just
we'll just
use
be
that
like,
one.
Edit the right ones in.
Alrighty, guys.
Episode 8, 46, yep, winner.
Or we could just make them all 50 until we actually get there.
What's our podcast? We do what we want.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to very special guest, Anton Mineko.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Did I get that right, though?
Yeah, Anton Mineko, that's it.
Oh,
Perfect.
fuck.
Perfect pronunciation.
I don't feel like it was, but I'm going to say thank you.
Anton Mineko,
He's been
that's
nice.
it.
Now, hit him. Hit him.
Big question, bro. Like, that's what we do here. Big questions.
Big question, bombshell questions.
21 words, who you are and what you do.
20
He counts them.
21 words, who I am and what I
Are
do.
you ready? Because then we're going to start from now.
And all sounds count.
All sounds?
Yeah.
Even that one?
Well, when do
Are
we
you ready?
start?
Okay.
Set, go.
Okay.
That's a sound.
That's 2 down already.
You're up to 4, actually.
Alright.
That's 5.
I teach body mechanics and braking mechanics.
Got 13.
That's the easiest way to describe. I feel that's it. I teach braking mechanics and body mechanics. That's it. Simple.
What are we
Simple
braking?
and straight. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I just love the fact that when people are like, nah, fuck it, I've had enough of this.
Yeah.
And then they just go. That was definitely over 21 words, but
I'm sorry. I'll
it's
try
okay.
again.
No, that was
But you know
perfect.
what? It
No,
was better than Luke's.
Yeah. What are we, episode whatever number, and we're
49!
still shouting out Mr. Luke Poley for his
Love that guy.
great... He's back under a bar, under
that.
today. This would be in the past, obviously.
Yeah, I still don't understand it.
We try and work out, like, when we release him, if we're actually speaking in past or future.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I see.
Currently, we're in the future.
we're not going to try and discuss. So, Anton, tell us more about this braking mechanics.
Yeah, so I'll kind of just start with where I kind of discovered jiu-jitsu. So, like my first introduction to it was, watching like The Ultimate Fighter. So I actually did a little bit of martial arts before, nothing too crazy, but one of my uncles used to do like some kung fu stuff, and I used to just go there, and they used to train like in their garage. So they had like a group of guys that used to just go out there and train and, hit pads and like spar with each other and stuff like that. So this is probably when I was like 13, 14, somewhere there. And yeah, I used to spend a bit of time and go and try that out. And the Ultimate Fighter started to become pretty big. Like, I think at the time, I think I watched GSP or something like that. So he was a champion at the time and doing really well. And, I watched a bit of that. And my uncle's like, man, you should, go and try this stuff out. It's really good. I was playing rugby at the time as well. So I've played rugby for a while. And he's like, look, man, go try that out. It might be awesome for self-defense stuff, but also for your rugby. It just looks like a really awesome thing. You should go and learn. So I'm from Adelaide originally. So out there's a guy called Gustavo Toledo, and he had a gym called BTT or ATT, American Top Team, which is under like a Brazilian top team gym. It's a very famous gym in like the jiu-jitsu kind of scene and circuit and stuff. So man, I just went out there and started training.
How old were you?
I was about 14 when I started jiu-jitsu, so I was 14, but I was already fairly big. Like I think I was probably around 80, 85 kilos already, so I was
That's a big
fairly...
14-year-old.
That's it.
Wrecking
Yeah.
people on the rugby field.
Yeah. So I was like I was always a very, very passive kid, very, very shy, like in like what do you call, like an introverted kind of kid. Didn't talk a lot, really quiet. But like once I got on the field and would play, like go a bit crazy and start smashing people and stuff. So
what position?
I've always played mainly back row, so like 6 or 7 mainly. So I played union. So I really always loved footy. I started probably when I was about 11, played a heap of stuff, and I always played like the South Australian like kind of state squad and stuff like that from probably like 12, 13, 14, and then there was about that time, like 13, 14, I started doing jiu-jitsu as well. And man, there was no kids class at the time. There was no
just straight in with that.
Yeah,
big
just straight in
girls.
with it. And luckily for me, I think I was big enough to kind of be competitive and get something out of it. I wasn't so small that I couldn't do anything. Like, I was training with fully grown men, and I think that's also one of the reasons that like led to me being so like actually learning jiu-jitsu so well, because I didn't really understand like strength and power. I was only 13, 14. I didn't know how to be strong. So even if I was a bit of a spaz, like maybe going crazy, but I just don't have main strength yet. So I think that definitely led to me being a lot more technical than if I started later in life. I didn't have the power to compete with like fully grown men at the time, even though I was a big kid.
You're still in that phase where you're learning how to use that power.
Your body and your strength, absolutely.
So you're forced out of absolute necessity.
To kind of like learn the techniques better than the other guys, I feel. So I think that really helped me initially. So that's kind of like where it all started in terms of jiu-jitsu.
What did you think first day when you did it? You're like, fucking, this is the best.
Man, I remember like training with Gustavo, so the guy that was the head instructor there at the time, and he took some time out of the class and started showing me chokes and all this stuff, and it was just probably too much information. I was like, I didn't know what was going on. So, and I remember later on trying to do one of the things he showed me, which was just an arm bar. So an arm bar from like, the guy's arm's there, and I'm getting the arm, squeezing. But, for me now, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe how retarded I was because I'm doing an arm bar with both of my legs underneath the guy's back, trying to do an arm bar. So if you know how an arm bar works, you need both your legs like on top of the guy's body, one across like their torso, one across their face. And
you would know any of that.
Lift your hips up and up into their elbow and kind of hyperextend their elbow. So looking back now, it's but at the time, man, I'm getting squeezing. I'm underneath his back, and it's just funny coming back with that memory, like so long ago. But that's kind of where it all started with jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
Sweet. And you'd say it was a love at first sight when you jumped on there, or was just?
I don't know, man. Like I've always just enjoyed like learning new things and competition. Like the same thing with footy when I first went there. Like I don't think I'm like a particularly super athlete. Like I've always been fairly athletic and flexible and strong and all that stuff. But I never, because I remember doing testing with footy and your vertical leap and all this other stuff. And I've always been strong and been decent and in that middle range. But I was never a freak athlete. You know what I mean? But I've just always enjoyed learning like the technicalities of thing and understanding stuff and competition, like just competing with someone else. It's a game, what I mean? It's just the joy of this is how good I am, this is how good you are, let's see what happens, what I mean? I've just always enjoyed that exchange. And I think that translates a lot into how I compete as well. Like I lose a lot of fights sometimes because I don't really care about points, and I just want to beat that guy. I want you to exchange and see what happens. And I think I always played footy like that as well. You know what I mean? It's just, I just want to go out there and compete. I want to do what I can, the best I can kind of thing. And man, I just enjoy that aspect of things, whether it's team sports or individually, everything has things that are awesome and they always have negatives too. And there was a lot of fun that I got out of, team stuff and playing footy for so long that I couldn't get the same from jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? Because it's that team aspect and the camaraderie and working for each other and all that type of thing. And then, but also there's always a lot of negatives that come with that too, you know what I mean? Like you're losing certain things because guys don't care or they don't have the same like intent going in. You want to win and play a certain way all the time, whereas individually you can do that. But both for me have been always, it's been good, super fun, man.
Did you find that the jiu-jitsu getting into that carried over to your rugby?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. So like I don't think there's much you can do that's like not transferable, man. Like the skills you learn from doing something else, like whatever it is, there's always something you can find and transfer over to like whatever else you're doing. Now specifically with jiu-jitsu, man, I think like it elevates your ability like massively because it's so close. Like the only thing that's different is like you're carrying a ball, but there's a lot of physical contact. You understand like your own body mechanics and how to stay stable and keep your feet underneath you and stuff like that naturally just from wrestling. And then in terms of like if you're talking about like tackle technique and like breakdown work and how to remove people and tilt people's shoulders and hips and stuff like that. And I'm getting like kind of technical with the way I'm talking about it, but
that'd be a huge advantage for you.
Massive, absolutely. Like I think that's always also why I always excelled in that area of contact. Like that was my thing as a back rower. Like I wasn't the best at ball skills. I wasn't the best with my footwork. Like I was decent at it and I played prem grade level, like a fairly high level. But the thing that I always excelled with in footy, especially, was contact. Like that was the thing that, man, I got hungry for that kind of thing. Yeah. So, and I don't know if that's like a primal thing because you're dominating someone else physically and that's what you enjoy so much about it. But like, man, I always excelled in that kind of thing with tackle tech and just the intent of like, man, I'm really going there to whack this dude instead of just kind of like I'm going to lay on his legs and fall over with him. I wanted to go over the top of people all the time and dominate them physically. So.
Did you find any of the other boys in the team starting to see you excel through that and start saying, hey, man, what are you doing in that little moment
initially
there?
When I was like at 14 and stuff like that, like I definitely noticed that for me, I always kept improving that area, and everyone else would talk about it a lot. And I remember, being 14, 15, 16 or whatever, and I had like a nickname of like the Smiling Assassin or something like that. And I was never an aggressive guy in person, but when I played rugby, and I would never be aggressive verbally or anything, but I just kind of let my actions kind of speak for, I guess that name too. So. I don't know where it came from, one of the coaches or something like that, because I was so quiet. Like I would never say anything, and I would just stand there. But the moment I went,
let the footy do the talking.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so
that's unreal.
Yeah.
So then you said some big comps you played in South Australia as well as a junior.
As a junior, so yeah, I played a heap of the kind of like state competitions and stuff, and I think at around like 16 they start doing like a national state championship. So. I can't remember the different age groups at this point, but I think they do like under 16s. Yeah. So they do like 14, 15, you go, 14 to 15 years old, you can qualify for like an under 16 competition, and they do like an under 18 national competition again, which is a really awesome program. And that's kind of where, like, in terms of rugby, that's where kind of like my career started. I didn't have like a professional career or anything like that, but I played like a fairly high level, and it all started from there. Like, starting with like the junior stuff in South Australia, and then after playing and winning like our kind of championship, so they had two pools, and the way they separate that is just a level. So South Australia, they put like the National Indigenous team at the time, Tasmania, like this type of kind of groups, Northern Territory, they all kind of go into this second division kind of group, and I was in that because I'm from South Australia. And then you have all the stronger kind of rugby states, Queensland, New South Wales, ACT, Western Australia, all the places that have super rugby clubs. So and because of that, they have their own programs, and they got a lot more funding and just better level quality coaching and stuff like that. So after that, I got a scholarship to Toowoomba Grammar. I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to Toowoomba Grammar.
How old were you there?
So from about 16. So
year 11, 12 sort of?
Yeah, that's right. So I went there for year 11 and 12. And, that's kind of where it all kind of started for footy in terms of that kind of situation.
Did you still get the role when you're in Tiba?
So I didn't really train much at the time. So especially for those 2 years, I didn't train jiu-jitsu much at all. And the only time that I would train jiu-jitsu is I would go back to Adelaide on school holidays, and sometimes I wouldn't even go back because we had rugby camps and we had all sorts of things.
Because Toowoomba's got a pretty good rugby program.
Yeah, they have a very good rugby program.
How old are you, man?
I'm 25. Yeah, 25 now.
I was trying to work that out. I was like, I'm pretty sure because we played against, I'm only a couple of years older than yourself. We played against Toowoomba Grammar, and I was like, I wonder if we actually played against each other. But you're a bit younger.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Imagine if you had.
I know.
Where did you go to school?
Padua College.
Okay, yeah. I played Padua College.
Did you beat them?
I believe so. Yeah,
Probably,
I
yeah.
believe so. Yeah.
Because anyway, there's a little
We
bit of
always
digression.
did Padua and some other like school because of the GPS kind of system.
Yeah.
We always did like Padua, Ash Grove and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're in a different comp, like as a trial game and stuff
absolutely.
like that. Yeah,
I remember all that. That was heaps fun.
Yeah, man. Really
Toowoomba
enjoyed
was GPS.
Yeah, GPS. That's correct. Yeah.
So we had a bloke on Terry who went to Nudgee.
Yeah.
Far out. Did you play much against them?
Like so
Yeah.
So moving forward, like went to Toowoomba Grammar. That's that GPS competition. So yeah, they have like a competition within all those schools. Generally, like each of those school kind of like, I don't know what you call them, competitions. They have all different like sanctions or whatever. They play against each other, you know. So I think it's only 9 games. It's a very, very short season, and it weighs a lot for all these schools. Like they get more funding from like the
it's
old
intense,
boys,
eh?
and like there's a lot of political stuff that goes into it.
How'd you guys go?
So the first year I was there, grade 11, at the time they had a guy there called Jason Gilmore. So he's a very, very high level coach. I think he's now actually coaching at the Reds. I don't know what his role is. He might be like a backs coach or something like that. But he's always been a very, very good high level coach. And he was like an up and coming coach. And, you know, maybe 2 years after I finished there, he went to Churchie. They won like the championship and then he was always, you know, with Australian coaches in like under 20s, Australian under 20s and all this stuff like that. But he's always done really well wherever he's coached. So a lot of my progression is, you know, a result of that, like having such a good high level coach for school footy.
Yeah.
And like, man, that just goes to show how high level they create.
Oh,
this
man, it's a
competition.
whole nother
It's
level.
a breeding ground for like
insane.
NRL and Super Rugby players. It's super, super high level. You know, there's a few guys that I played footy with that were in my team that are, you know, are now Super Rugby players, and there was one guy that was playing NRL that played a couple games and stuff like that. They're all very, very high level, and like it's a professional program. Like, man, you're doing strength and conditioning 4 days a week. You're doing skill session 4 or 5 days a week, and up 6:15 in the morning to go and do weights, whatever. Like, it's
all the food,
very, very
everything looked
regimented.
after.
Yeah. So if you're a boarder, absolutely. Like if you live at the school, which is what I did for the 2 years that I was there. Man, it's a camp. It's you just go there, you
a little bit of
train,
school on the
you
side.
eat, you do a little bit of school. Their you know, education is very high level too. And I like, to be honest, I feel like I got so much more out of like my education being a boarder. Now there's good and bad things about everything. There was stuff you didn't enjoy about living there, because you just never leave. You're there all the time. You're there every day, and it gets a little bit tedious and tiring at times, and you really
Hard
look
being
forward
away
to
from
it.
home?
For me, initially it was, man. Like I've always been such an introverted, kind of quiet dude, and that's changed massively through playing footy, because you can't like,
You're exposed to other people constantly.
Constantly, and just the way like you communicate, like you need to, man, look up here, like, man, watch. And before I would never did that. But like getting exposed to like high levels of footy and stuff like that, man, you have to, because if you don't do that stuff, you're not going to get picked. Man, I credit so much of my personal development to all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, the stuff you learn about yourself by, you know, putting yourself out there, like competing in jiu-jitsu and competing in rugby and improving. And like, man, if you have a flaw, you have to fix that shit. You don't fix it, you're not going to make the team. And I think
being such a high level school, the pressure's there to be there.
Absolutely, but man, in anything, like even if it's low level competition, like I think I'm kind of like going off on a tangent and stuff a little bit right now, but man, I think like the attitude of people in the current kind of like climate is super pathetic, man. Like everything's sad for me and everything's bad, and I think maybe these people just need to be kind of challenged, man. Like they just don't get challenged anymore. And I'm talking about like the general population of people. Like if you have kids, if you have whatever, man, put them into jiu-jitsu, put them into rugby, put them into something difficult.
It's such a thing. It's actually, you bring up a good point, because I've always thought team sports as a young kid is the best thing for a young kid, because you are forced to develop skills that you can't get anywhere else from playing team sports. Like as you said before, like you are pushed to be extroverted,
and it doesn't matter if it's at a high level or not, man. The things you learn of like dealing with other people and getting along and overcoming issues and obstacles, like you don't get that from a lot of other stuff. You know what I mean? I'm sure you can figure out to do it, but you're put in a position where like you're either going to sink or swim. Like you're going to do well, or you're not going to like this and you're going to quit. And it's okay if you want to do that, but man, like it doesn't. You don't have to be the best athlete in the world. You don't have to be a Super Rugby player. You don't have to be anything. But just taking on challenge and overcoming that thing is important for everyone in life. You know what I mean? And I think most people miss that. You know what I mean? They're afraid of that, and that's what leads to them having so many issues mentally and all these problems in their life later on. Like, man, I'm happy and I'm grateful for, you know, the life that I've had and all the challenges and issues that I've overcome. Like, man, if you do this stuff, you're going to have injuries, you're going to have issues, you're going to have this, you're going to have that. You have to overcome this stuff. If you don't, man.
Otherwise, you're just in a whinging sitting on a couch.
That's it. Yeah.
That's fucking boring.
I think you nailed it perfectly. Like, people just miss challenge.
Big time, man.
And then they just, or they get comfortable in their situation. And
Sure, man.
I think especially with, like, we look at the current day and age, everything's kind of not so much given to us, but it's not hard to find answers. Like, I remember going through uni and, like, man, it was like, honestly, granted, I lasted 2 years before I was like, oh, I don't want to do this, but a lot of stuff's given to you, man.
Yeah.
Even at school, I remember that. And it's like, there's no way for people to actually seek out challenge and go and find their answer for themselves.
Yeah.
Which I reckon 100%, it's a devalue to the person, because then they don't get to figure out the fucking answer.
For sure.
They don't find the challenge in it.
Yeah. I think that it's across the board in so many different like pursuits, man. Like, I don't know what changed at some point, but I'm happy that, like, when I started doing all this stuff, whether it was jiu-jitsu, whether it was rugby, you just, like, you go there and you try and you figure it out. There's no, like, oh, I don't want to train in this class. Where's the kids' class? I was about to say, like, being thrown in the men's class as well. It's like, you had to. You can either participate here or you don't want to participate. It's up to you. But, like, everyone's so kind of, like, entitled to, where's my help? Man, there's no help in life, dude. You know what I mean? Like, everyone expects that, and they do receive it a lot now, especially in first world countries, man. If you go to somewhere else, like, I traveled a lot with all this stuff, whether it was rugby and jiu-jitsu, man. I've traveled so much. I've been all over the place. People have helped me so much, and I'm grateful for that, and I've learned so much, and I've experienced so much through all this stuff. So I only have positive things to say about competition and accepting challenge, because the way I see it is, the more you kind of put yourself out there and the more you risk and the more you try to overcome these things, the more life gives back to you, man. Like, the more you get out of life. You know, I started playing footy in a state where it didn't exist, man. It's a very, very low level kind of, it's not low level, like, there's good guys there, but the depth and the coaching and stuff, it's not there. And it's not because it can't be there. It's just not. And the guys that are good end up going somewhere else. They go to New South Wales, they go to Queensland, they go to France. One of the guys that was a couple years older than me that did the same kind of pathway. He started in Adelaide.
Wow.
You know what I mean? He got a scholarship to go to TSS, the Southport School in the Gold Coast. And after that, he played Prem grade here, and then he was in, like, the Reds Academy, and then he got a contract to go and play in Toulon in France or something like that. And man, there's a lot of challenges that happen, and, you know, they overcome their own, you know, they have broken legs, and you know, I've had my own injuries that I've had to overcome many, many times playing footy. You know, I've had an ankle surgery, I've had 2-3 knee injuries, I had a knee surgery, man, you have to overcome this stuff. You have to experience these things. And the thing is like, the more you throw yourself into that wholeheartedly, the more you get out of it. The more, whether it's learning, whether it's monetary, financial, whatever, like, you get things out of this stuff. It's hard work. It's all hard work. And anything you put hard work into, you get stuff out of. I mean, I'm sure you have the same kind of things you could talk about this gym, about all sorts of things, man. It's just how it is. And I feel like it's so, like, everything's about being politically correct and not stepping on anyone's toes and stuff like that. You're doing a massive disservice to yourself, kind of adopting that attitude, because it's not reality, man. I understand that there's a lot of people that feel that way, and it's, you know, I'm not trying to upset anyone or anything like that, but, man, it's not really real. It's not the way it is.
Well, let's just buy into someone else's reality, really. Like, we have the opportunity to frame things the way we want.
Absolutely. And it's a choice that you make, man.
100%.
You can complain about everything and be a victim because it's super easy, and, you know, life's hard and life sucks, and it does, man. And you get to pick what you're going to do in that. You pick how you react.
You can either keep sucking, or you can do something.
That's it, man. You can say, oh, man, there's no gyms open for COVID, I'm going to put on 10 kilos. Or you can get your weights, you can put them in your basement, you can do workouts on your own. Like,
that was the best.
You know what I mean? Like,
fucking good times.
You know what I'm saying?
How much does this perspective, because you do a bit of coaching now.
Yeah.
How much of this perspective do you try and instill in your clients?
Man, look, I offer this information, like, constantly. It's up to them if they want to kind of take it in, you know what I mean? So I'm not angry with people. I'm not upset with people if they don't want to understand things the way I want to understand. Like, man, I just go, look, this is what I think. This is what I understand about life. This is what I've learned in my 25 years of existing. If this is helpful to you, here it is. If you're not happy with that, okay, no problem. That's up to you to pick it up or not. So, man, I definitely talk about this stuff a lot, and it's the understanding that I got from all this stuff about footy, and man, it came from competition. It came from jiu-jitsu. I think like all these physical pursuits or skills that you take on in life, man, like that's only half the picture. The other half is just learning about yourself and life in general. Like you can learn so much from anything, whether you're like a skilled crafter in woodwork. It doesn't matter. Like if you master like one thing and you really truly understand things about it and the reality of that thing, you can transfer that into anything else in your life. And that's something that I kind of found and figured out at some point in jiu-jitsu. Because, and the awesome thing for me is there is no complaining. There is no being the victim. Because either you tapped or you didn't tap.
Yeah.
Because either you fell on the bottom or you didn't fall on the bottom. Because either the guy picked you up and threw you on the ground or he didn't. There's no question. There's no but. That doesn't exist. What happened? Think about it. Analyze it. Figure it out. This is what happened. I need to fix that.
Yeah.
And if you're exposed to this type of thing, I think it changes your life, man. Because you start to realize real things. Not, but if I complain hard enough, it'll work. If I complain enough to the right person, it'll work out for me. That's a massive attitude that most people adopt now because it works. And it doesn't. And I'm not getting political or anything, but whatever group, minority, whatever you're in or about, like, man, if you complain hard enough, I get what I want. And that's a bad thing to pass on to the next generation. That's a bad thing to pass on to anyone. Because now you're just going to have people that are, man, at each other's throats. But you did this to me, and you can't get along. No, you can't get along with anyone. But man, you can hate a guy. You can go 10 minutes with them. You can choke them, and afterwards you're going to go, "Thank you very much. Thank you for that training." All right, because it doesn't matter what you think. This is what happened. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, this is like I'm blessed for finding jiu-jitsu at 14 years of age. Yeah, you know what I mean. So and like the stuff you learn through life, man, you have habits and all sorts of things. They're hard to change. You know what I mean? Even with jiu-jitsu, even I'm happy, I'm grateful that I found this stuff at 14 because it's helped shape me to this kind of thing, and it's helped me achieve the things that I want to achieve. You know what I mean?
So do you almost sort of look for challenges then and try and source
absolutely.
them
That's
out
why I
to try and
compete.
overcome?
That's why I compete. Yeah. That's why everything, like, all right, I wasn't getting much out of footy anymore. I didn't get a contract, and I could have stayed there and tried to play more, and got a player manager and all this stuff. But man, I don't care about that stuff. I just want to play, man. I just want to do this stuff. And the political side of rugby, I think I felt very betrayed by that because, like, man, I would go there and I would train as hard as anybody and lift and do my own training and do all this and do all that. And then you go there and there's guys that make teams because their dad was a Wallaby or they got a good player manager or whatever. Like, man, that's fine. And maybe eventually I could have made something. But I don't want to wait till I'm, in my 30s or miss this opportunity that I can do whatever I want with athletically because I'm waiting for other people's opinions. That's not important to me.
Yep.
What's important to me is challenging myself, competing at the highest level.
Yep.
And I don't get a choice. I can't go and knock on the door of the Reds and say, hey, I want to play Super Rugby. Yep. They don't care. They don't give a shit. So I have to find challenge on my own. So I was playing, prem grade stuff, and that's a very high level. It's very challenging and stuff. But I can't go any further unless someone wants me to. Yep. So what am I supposed to do? I'm going to either stay there for as long as they decide, or I'm going to go do something else. Yep. So I decided to do something else.
And then jiu-jitsu almost puts it up to you then. Right?
Absolutely, man. Because either I win or either I lose. Yeah. That's it. And that's the difference I got out of individual stuff. Yeah. Because it's not about my team. It's not about someone else's opinion. It's about what the hell did you do right now? Did you do well or did you fuck up? You fucked up. All right, fix it.
And then what did you do? Like if you're coming into comp, it's all on you. What you did.
It's all on me. It's everything. Right? Oh, I didn't prepare enough. I didn't do. And man, you always have doubts, and you always have injuries, and you always have problems. And I've had, I had a knee surgery recently. Yep. You know what I mean? But like, and that's the life of competition. Man. It doesn't matter what you do. You do anything at a high level, your body's going to fail on you.
Yeah, and we don't get into high level endeavors to be healthy.
Yeah, man.
It goes from being healthy.
Like, man, you can be as healthy as you can be, but like when you're pushing yourself to the extreme, injuries are going to happen. It's a part of it, and you have to accept that.
Pulled certain directions.
That's right. That's right.
Going to go.
Absolutely, man.
But I think that's like the good correlation or the good. of both our sports, or similarities of both our sports. Like, man, like under the bar, it's you, and if you fuck up, it's only on you.
Yeah.
And you have to be in that moment to go, this is what I did wrong.
Yeah.
We're very lucky. We get 3 attempts at, something, so we can go sick. Let's rectify that on the next one. And you get so much feedback from that, and that feedback is fucking experience.
Well, you just become totally accountable for everything that's occurring in your life, and that's something that people don't want to do because it's fucking scary. It's scary to go, I'm here at this point in my life because of me, nobody else, not because of my mom, not because of my dad, not because the world the way it is. Man, you get to pick, and that's the crazy thing. Not in all countries, and not everything's equal, and life's unfair, but man, especially for people in Australia. And the funny thing about that is the people that are in like these privileged situations, they're the ones that suffer the most with their own mind. They're the ones that suffer the most with figuring this shit out. And that's the thing that's fucking scary, man, to be honest. Like, man, if you go, and I've only been lucky to see this stuff because of all this. That's why I'm like, man, I'm so grateful for all this stuff. I've been to New Zealand, I've been to Thailand, I've been here, I've been there, I've been everywhere. And I see people living in all these other countries, man. And if you go to the third world countries, you go to places that aren't off, man, they're the happiest people on the fucking planet. Because they are challenged every day. They have something to work towards every day. They have a real purpose to exist. I need to fucking get this fish for my wife and my daughter and whatever. So that's their purpose today. I'm getting food for my fucking family. You know what I mean? Whereas if you're here in a first world country, man, you don't need to do shit. You can sit at home, you can claim, the dole or whatever. You can order Uber Eats every day. You can do whatever the fuck. You got no purpose to exist. And the silly thing is you can pick whatever the fuck you want. You don't need to pick whatever you want. You want to be, the best at fucking painting toy cars. Be the best at painting toy cars and bring happiness to somebody with that. You can pick whatever you want, but people spend so much time looking at an electronic device and get all this. But I need a big rack, and I need a fat ass, and I need I need a Lamborghini, and I need to make it rain. Whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? But they trap themselves, man. They trap themselves, and then they're unhappy. You know what I mean? Whereas if you pick powerlifting, if you pick jiu-jitsu, if you pick a real purpose where you're totally accountable for, the fulfillment you get out of that is on you. And you chose that, no one else. It's not your mum's fault that you didn't get the lift. You know what I mean? 100%. It's not the guy in the car with the Lamborghini that you hate because he's got a Lamborghini. I don't give a shit about that. This is what's important to me. You know what I mean?
The old barbell tells no lies.
That's right. And jiu-jitsu is the same way.
Same with the mat or, the opponent. There's
Correct.
no lies there.
There's no lies. And that is freeing for people. That's freeing for you. It's the most, grateful thing that you ever experience, man. There is no bullshit. It is this or it's that. And there's no confusion.
It's so great how you just said it's the most freeing thing. Because, on the platform, there's nothing else going through your head. And I'm talking obviously from a personal experience now, but and I'm sure it's the same on the mat in some respect.
Yeah.
We have 1, 2, 3, there's 5 powerlifters in the room, and I'm sure we all would say the same thing, that on the platform we feel the most free because we're only focused on one thing. It's the best feeling.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But man, that's the same with anything that
you pursuit of, and you're challenging.
and you make that the purpose of your existence. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what it is. It could be raising a family. It could be whatever. But you need to find something, and you need to fucking throw yourself into that. And funnily enough, that shit will come back to you. Life brings it back for you. And man, that's...
How much do you think of it, though, is again, going down this tangent since we're here,
yeah.
People are afraid to accept their own purpose. You use the example of painting a toy car before, which... To me, I was random, but
It's probably a person. That
exactly.
And there's probably someone that gets great fulfillment out of it. Yeah, for sure.
If you like doing that, there is guaranteed to be somewhere else.
There'll be another person that loves it.
Exactly, right. And it's just I find people are afraid to accept that. Oh, cool, maybe that's just my purpose, but it's not just that. It's something that really means something to yourself and someone.
Yeah, but I think that's because everyone's afraid, man. Because they don't want to be criticized. They don't want to be attacked. They don't want to be, you're a loser, you're a nerd. You do, man. Who gives a shit, man? If you enjoy that shit, pursue it. Take it on. That's the point. And again, this is a disease, a mental disease that affects people that are wealthy. It only affects rich people. If you go and find some guy in Thailand or in Brazil or whatever that's got no money, man, that guy is the happiest person on the planet, all right? On average, on normal, you know what I mean? I'm sure they have their own struggles and their own issues, and they have many, many horrible things that happen to them. But, like, man, they get on with life, man. They get on with life. The most horrible shit can happen, and they get on with it because they're forced to, because they have no fucking choice. Because if I don't, I'm not going to survive. Yep. Whereas here, man, or anywhere that everything's catered for you, and it's evident in the statistics of things like suicide and depression and all this shit. You know what I mean? Like, it exists in these places because of the climate, the way things are. So find something. Just find something you enjoy and pursue it and put your life into that. And it will give back to you. And you'll make friends and you'll find happiness and fulfillment and all these great things. But instead, they're afraid. They're afraid because I'm not Kim Kardashian or I'm not whoever. And that's what's cool and that's what's important, that you appear or look like that. And if you don't look like that, you're a loser, you're a nothing. And that's not true, but that's what people think.
100%. Like, I could even say that for myself. Like, I love comic books.
Yeah.
If you probably can tell from all my tattoos. Like, people think I'm tough because I got tattoos. I'm like, they're fucking Marvel characters. I'm like, calm down. I'm not that tough.
I ain't trying to be tough wearing them either.
No, I remember reading comics back in high school, like, in the fucking back of the library, because I was like, fuck.
You don't want someone to see,
Someone sees me reading this.
Like, fuck. What the hell? Because, like, you know, back then it was, oh, you're a nerd.
Yeah.
By grade 12, I was like, fuck you. Like,
you don't care. But see, that's something that you figured out on your own.
Exactly,
that's awesome. And it's great that you figured out early enough. And also, I think a massive reason for figuring those things out is pursuing something like footy. You were playing footy at the time.
Yeah, 100%.
Or doing weightlifting and finding a group of people that don't give a shit about that stuff. They don't care about who's got the nicest car or whatever. You're a group of people that are going to meet together here and enjoy what you're doing here right now, this, all right? Same with jiu-jitsu. Man, jiu-jitsu is one of the biggest social networks around. Everyone goes there just to hang out.
Yeah, and you got what? One of everyone training.
Yeah,
there,
that's right. Anyone from any creed, any color, everything, man.
Yep.
They're all from everywhere. And the thing is they're all meeting together to do this one thing that they enjoy. And there's no judgment. They're not like, oh, shit, you didn't do that well. Oh, you're terrible. No, they don't care. Oh, I tried that, didn't work. Ha, 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 whatever. Move on, go and train again with somebody else.
Yep.
You find real joy at finding people that have the same interests and, again, a purpose. You don't have to be an athlete. You don't have to be a jiu-jitsu trainer, but you really enjoy this shit. You enjoy it, all right? It resonates with you. It's important to you. And a major component of that is, man, the energy and the joy you get from the people that do it with you.
The community aspect is what
correct,
brings everything
absolutely.
back. Like,
you belong to something.
Let's look at the current COVID coming out of that. All these gyms closed down, but the ones that are surviving and now thriving are the ones who had a community and a culture.
100%.
And I'm sure it's the same jiu-jitsu.
Absolutely, yeah. There's members, that continue to pay their membership, and you see some of the greatest generosity that you ever see, all right? Because of that community, it's that small time thing, but because everyone's so focused on this Instagram kind of appearance lifestyle, the gyms that are struggling or the businesses that are struggling more, and there's lots of small businesses that have that issue, especially restaurants and stuff, but like Virgin, you know what I mean? No one gives a shit if Virgin goes bankrupt except the people that work there. There's no community around Virgin. There's no community around any other 24-hour Snap Fitness gym. There can be a little bit, but it's not the same as this, like this grassroots level. Like, no, we care about each other. You know what I mean? We come here and do this together all the time because of the joy that we have and the community we belong to.
And that starts with, at the top, with everyone having the same common goal.
Absolutely.
Like, the only reason we all connect is because we're all fucking lifting barbells.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, and that's how it begins.
I've met people I would never have met outside of what I've done, but because we all want to pull deadlifts.
But, like, even this, like, I would never have met you
100%.
if you didn't like jiu-jitsu and he didn't like jiu-jitsu, and we only met because we fucking love barbells. And that's the community aspect, that it just comes together. It's sick.
I know. It's amazing. So, man,
We're
stop being afraid. Just fucking pick something and do it. And if you don't like it, pick something else. Try that out.
Powerlifting or jiu-jitsu.
That's right. Man, trust
Little
me,
plug.
if you pick this stuff, it's going to change your life, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Even if you don't, just give it a chance. Go there, try it out. And if you really don't like it, man, try something else.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, it's very difficult to dislike stuff like this because of the way you connect with people and the purpose you give to yourself, man. You accepting challenge into your life. There's only positive shit that's going to come from that. If you look at it and go, I didn't do well on that, I'm going to be accountable, I'm going to fix that, and I'm going to get better. And I'm going to get better, and I'm going to get better, and I'm never going to stop getting better. And the more consistently you do that, the better you feel about yourself, the better you feel about everything. Because everything improves in every aspect.
Yeah,
financially,
absolutely.
Friendships, everything.
Yeah,
Fuck,
absolutely.
no.
I mean, I'm sure Brandon could attest the same, but like, how many times do you hear the client say, man, fuck, just been around this place, everything outside of here's gotten better.
Yeah, like, we'll actually make a good point. Like, I had a client come in this morning. He's like, yeah, I've given up drinking now. Like, just being around this place, I kind of, it raised my standards. I want to be better at this. And now he's like, he's saving money. He's feeling better.
Yeah.
And now he's happier.
Yeah.
All because he's like quit one thing because he was around a bunch of people that fucking raised his
But
standards.
see how easy it is? It's just one choice. It's one choice to change your life.
His one choice to come back to the gym.
And it starts with putting yourself in an uncomfortable position and going, I'm going to try something that's going to be fucking a little bit scary. It's going to be scary to go there initially. It's going to be worrying. I'm going to be threatened. Oh shit, I've never done this before. I don't know what this is going to feel like. But again, that's a challenge. And if you accept that challenge, look what happens.
Yeah, 100%.
It leads to all this other stuff. It leads to all these other things. But no one wants to do it because they're too
caught up on that phone,
I
eh?
don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the one with, but they give too much value to that thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the one that puts a photo of me on Instagram and again saying oh, what a gay, what a fucking fag, whatever.
Yep.
Man, who gives a shit? Why do you care about this person?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You don't need them in your life. They're not helpful to you. Go and find somebody that will be.
Exactly.
All right.
Also, that person's probably on the other side of the fucking world.
Correct.
It's just like,
You stop trying to qualify yourself by what you put on the internet, trying to keep
100%,
everyone happy.
100%. But like, man, find something that you enjoy and just put your life into that. And trust me, you're gonna meet people. You're gonna find, girlfriends, whatever. Everything positive comes out of committing your life to something. Find something to commit yourself to. That's positive, not drinking, not gambling, not something self-destructive, something helpful, man. Something that you can improve on.
and then something you can pass on as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
Because
what
you're going to
you're
learn
doing
a
now.
skill, man.
Yeah.
You're going to learn a skill. You can teach this to other people and help improve their lives. That's the village kind of thing that used to occur, that it doesn't exist anymore because of social media, because of, we've become so efficient at doing everything that we've lost connection. And there's no challenge in life. And challenge brings people together because that's what it does, man. Because people, they're all going to struggle in certain areas.
But it also comes, I think, that connection's lost due, where's my phone? We get certainty from this thing. We can look at it and we know if we start scrolling, we're going to feel a certain thing. 100%. There's just no variety in our life
put the
anymore.
right photo up, we'll get the right amount of likes.
But that's why anyone does anything, because of the experience they get from it. That's why anyone fucking does drugs. That's why anyone,
It's also like if you watch the same movie all the time, it's because you know what you're going to get from it.
Correct, 100%. But people sit there and complain and go like, I'm not getting any results and I'm still eating McDonald's and I'm still doing the same. Man, you're doing the same thing. Why do you think something's going to change? You have to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation for something to be different.
Yeah, the old, you do nothing, nothing's going to happen.
But the point is with all this stuff that we're talking about, nobody wants to do that because it's fucking hard. It's hard.
It is, and it is uncertain, but it's
it's scary and it's hard, and it always will be. And the more you do it, the better you get at doing it. The more you put yourself there, the better you get at accepting that. And eventually, you don't give a shit anymore, and you just keep going. And you put yourself in challenge, and you throw yourself in, and you throw yourself in, and you improve, and you throw yourself in, and you improve, and you just continually get better. And it will never change. It will always be tiring. It will always be scary. It will always be uncomfortable.
But you start enjoying that, right?
But what you enjoy,
challenge.
you do. You start to enjoy it because you know that the things you're going to get back is so positive, man. You're going to get another 2 kilos on your squat. You get another 5 kilos on your bench, whatever. I'm hitting my goals.
The thing is, the more you expose yourself to it, the more you start believing you could do more. I remember the first time I squatted 150, I thought, well, I could never squat 150, but then 200 became possible.
Yeah, correct.
And now I've squatted 260, I'm like, maybe I can fucking squat 300.
So this mentality that you're talking about is awesome, you know what I mean? And you do the same thing with jiu-jitsu, but it also opens up to your mind how much more there is out there.
It opens possibilities and what is actually possible.
But you also realize, man, I've learned, I don't know how many techniques in jiu-jitsu, all right? But someone that's just started or a blue belt, whatever, they think they know a lot, man. I don't know shit, dude. And I've been training for a long fucking time. You know what I mean? And I'm very I look to improve. I go and find techniques and try to fix them and extract techniques from all sorts of people that are doing well and watching stuff. And man, I know lots and lots of positions, but I'm never going to know everything. And there's guys that have been training for the guys that founded the sports don't know everything.
Yeah.
Okay. It exposes to you the more you know, or the better you get, how much more there is out there. So you lose this egotistical kind of approach, like, man, I'm fucking doing 200. Yeah, and there's a guy that's doing fucking 400 kilos more than you. And there's someone else that's doing a lot more than him. All
It's
right?
almost the more you know, the more you work out you don't know.
Yeah, and the more humble you become, the more balanced you become as a human being. You know what I mean? And man, this is just another aspect of why this shit's so important. You know what I mean? Whereas it's easy for you to sit on the couch and go on your phone and call someone a fucking loser, or look at this asshole, fucking got his gi on, what a fag, it looks like pajamas. Man, it's easy to say that when you don't know anything.
Does that shit actually happen though? Because I feel like
I'm sure it does, man.
If I'm writing that to someone in jiu-jitsu, I'm like,
I've never had that. I'm just making it up. You know?
I was going to say, because like in my head, I'm like, that person could probably beat the shit out of me. I'm not going to do that.
They want to write those comments. They can put that gi on.
This attitude that you're talking about right now comes from this experience, man.
Yeah.
They've never had this experience. They've never understood any of this stuff. And because you don't understand any of this stuff, it's easy for you to comment and say, no, that guy can't do shit to me. I'll just get up.
Yeah, they're just cuddling.
Man, you go to any pub when the UFC's on, there'll be some drunk guy there going, what the fuck, just get up. You have no idea, man. You got no idea what that is. You don't understand how difficult that is. You don't understand how good that guy is on the top. You got no idea.
Yeah. They just start booing it and be like, it's boring.
But that comes from just not being understanding. And not only not understanding that art itself, because again, like that thing that I said at the start, like once you understand one thing to a decent level, you understand that other shit's difficult and it's impressive. Like you have more gratitude and you have more enjoyment. Like, man, I'm not an artist or a painter, but I can look at something that someone did and go, fuck, man, that took a lot of effort. That's really impressive. You know what I mean?
That comes from experiencing something at a high level.
Correct.
And pushing yourself to a point.
And challenging yourself to get to that point, because you understand that person challenged themselves the same way and dedicated this many hours and their life to this thing. And if you don't dedicate yourself to anything, it's easy to sit there and just go,
judge.
everything's shit, everything sucks, I'm the fucking best, there's nothing wrong with me, I'm a victim if anything bad happens. Wham, wham, wham. And they hate life, man, these people. And the thing is it's like a big majority of people that never put themselves in these positions. And that's the thing, you know, man, that's scary stuff for me. Because more and more people are getting like that because they're so used to this, they're so used to watching TV. And man, I enjoy going and teaching people about jiu-jitsu, about, you know, anything to do with martial arts and combative stuff, because, man, it changes their life.
Yeah.
Not only learning, but the longer they're in that place, the longer they're around that vibe and the same people that have already learned the same thing, man, they become completely different human beings.
Yeah.
There's many people that go there and start out and they're not that cool of a person.
Yep.
You know, they're a bit douchey. They you know, have bad attitude towards people. They're
Overweight,
arrogant,
poor
whatever.
habits, all that kind of
and
stuff.
you can track their progress over a year or two. Man, they've become a completely different human being.
Yeah.
And it's not because like jiu-jitsu, it's just because of everything we've talked about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Accepting challenge, becoming a better human being, all this stuff. It's not one thing you get out of it. You can literally get anything you want out of that thing that you choose, as long as it's difficult and as long as it's challenging.
Yeah.
And man, for me, anything that's physically challenging is the easiest thing for people to understand, because it's tangible.
Yeah.
You can touch that.
Yeah.
Like I was making the idea or the kind of connection with the toy car. You can kind of touch that, but it's not the same thing as like lifting 200 kilos. It's not the same thing as someone else dominating you physically. It's not the same thing as someone, as you're about to catch the ball in footy, someone caught you off guard and smashes you. That's different, because you definitely feel that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Boxing, kickboxing, whatever.
Yeah, that shit's gonna hurt.
I have a little bit of a different distinction like about boxing and kickboxing, because they don't spar full 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because they don't do that, you can still carry a little bit of ego in there.
Yeah.
But when you wrestle or when you do jiu-jitsu, that shit's 100% all the time.
Yeah.
It's very common for people to say, let's do a light roll. How often does that happen?
All the time.
Yeah. And how often does it become a light roll? Never. All right. Everyone always trains at 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
A nice little soft touch, and then
Yeah.
they grab your gi, and it's like boom.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, and I'm not saying, man, people can't control themselves, and there's some people that can train a little bit light or whatever. But generally, man, it starts off light and then it'll heat up. That's just the way it goes.
It's just a conversation.
And you can't really do that with kickboxing, boxing. Otherwise, you knock each other out all the time. So you just got to touch spar. You go whatever. But man, here you go on 100%. So you know what's up. You know what's up. You either did well or you didn't do well.
And you get to have that every time you train.
100% every time. So it's in your face every time, and that's so important, man. In my opinion.
Yep.
All right. It's so important. You never put yourself above other people. You never do this or do that because, man, everybody can choke. Anybody can choke you.
Yeah.
The position's what's important.
Yeah.
The understanding of what you're doing is important. It doesn't matter if it's a 15-year-old girl, all right, a 7-year-old boy, an 85-year-old woman. If someone puts you in an armbar and they understand how to move their hips, all right, even a 6-year-old kid is going to have enough strength, if my arm's totally stretched out, to push their hips into the back of my elbow. They can definitely damage my arm.
Yeah.
All right? You know what I mean? So there's no confusion. There's no, I'm above this. You're not above nothing, dude.
Yeah.
This is how it works.
They put a proper choke on, you're going to sleep.
That's right. If it's a 7-year-old kid, doesn't matter. They lock that shit in, they put their chin on top of their wrist and they squeeze as hard as they can. You're going to have to start poking them in the eyes to get that off. You know what I mean? And if they're durable, they're going to choke you unconscious. You know what
You're
I'm
still
saying?
getting asleep.
That's right.
Old mate's just going to have a sore eyeball.
Yeah.
That's right. So, man, like, for me, this is like one of the most important like things to understand about jiu-jitsu. Like, there is no like bullshit, nothing. You can't bullshit anything. You either did this or you didn't. This either happened or it didn't. You can't make it up. You can't do this. And some people try, and they try because they don't want to accept the challenge. They don't want to acknowledge the fact that, all right, I need to improve on this. And people try, and they're always left unhappy.
Yeah.
Oh, my jiu-jitsu sucks. They feel bad about themselves.
And I'm not getting graded.
Correct.
Not getting my belt. Not getting
It
my
might be
stripe.
whatever. But the more, and again, it's because they just want to go back to being comfortable. But comfortable doesn't give anything.
But all
Only
this,
challenge
you're
yourself.
talking from a very experienced person, and I guess the experienced position. But you've got the results to back it up.
Yeah.
I think I read 2018, 2019 world champ.
So, world championship stuff I've competed at. So I've medaled. I've got like third place and stuff like that. I've never medaled at first place as a world championship. I've medaled like 3 times as a third place. All right, in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I love how you're really humbling about this, and I'm just like, yeah, third place in the world.
Yeah. So
Where were those comps?
Abu Dhabi and one in America.
About as big as it gets.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you remember that time you came third in the world championships in Abu Dhabi? Oh, wait.
No.
That was Anton. That's right, yeah.
So,
I remember the time I got my ass kicked as a blue belt in Sydney trying to think with false illusions I can make it.
no, man, like anyone can do well. Like I the only differentiation I would make about this is definitely impressive in jiu-jitsu, especially being an Aussie. Like, this is not. There's some guys now currently that are doing really well as an Australian, but man, this is not really.
So
the most crazy sport.
Obviously, you're a world champ. Oh, sorry, you've medaled at world championships.
Yeah.
How many fights have you lost though?
Many, man. Many fights.
So what I like about your jiu-jitsu is you're not necessarily trying to play for points. You genuinely want to compete, and you really like to submit people.
For sure. So, and that's something that you can see in my record. Like, I definitely have lost a lot of fights, and most of them have been by points. I have been submitted here and there.
Yep.
It's not really that easy a thing to kind of do, to submit me, but there's been times, where I went in, I've done stupid stuff competing as well. Like,
we all have.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just thinking now.
That's right. Like, man, I competed when, I had like a completely ruptured LCL and some other knee injuries and stuff, and just tapped it up completely.
Little tape should be good.
And obviously I didn't get a good result. Or, you know, I've lost fights where, you know, I was 100 kilos, and 3 weeks before I saw that there was $2,000 on the offer. So fuck, I'm gonna lose 13 kilos in 3 weeks. So I do that and go there, and I'm exhausted, and I lose my first fight by points and things like that. So I've definitely lost. I've definitely, you know, made stupid choices, and I've lost like big competitions and stuff like that because of bad decisions, just like tactically. But
that's why you're a fucking world champ medalist.
But you always look at those and grow from them.
For 100%, 100%. Like that's the point that we've been talking about this whole time. Like you only get to this point, to this level, by doing that to yourself. You know what I mean? Putting yourself in the fire, and either you fucking learn or you lose. And like, man, you lose and you're going to learn anyway. Like, you either win and do great, awesome, yeah, high fives with everyone, or you lose and you figure out something else you got to fix. And that's the process, and it goes on forever. And you do it again next time. And even if you win, there's always stuff to look at, man. There's always stuff that you could do better. You could do this. Yeah. For me, I think one of the biggest things for me to overcome is not a physical thing. Like, I've always been strong, especially for jiu-jitsu standards. Like, coming from
you look pretty jacked, I'm not gonna lie.
Pretty, like, man, like strength.
Off-season powerlifting. Let's do
it. Strength conditioning from like a you know, a high-level rugby program and stuff like that to jiu-jitsu is not the same. Like, jiu-jitsu is becoming a professional sport. It hasn't been for a long time. Before, it was just guys that trained a lot and used to, you know, fight. And man, the beginnings of jiu-jitsu were just street fighters. Man, it was just thugs and rough guys that wanted to bash each other. I want to figure out how to do this better.
The old Fight Club.
Yeah, that's it. It was the Brazilian Fight Club. They all, you know, made their own gyms and things there, and they would have like gym battles and fight each other and bash each other on the beach, and all. That's where this stuff started, man. And I didn't have the same experience because I'm not from that time. But even when I started jiu-jitsu, and that was only like, I don't know, 8-9 years ago maybe, man, they were the same type of guys. It wasn't mainstream at the time. That's why there was no kids class. That's why I was training with men that most of them come from other martial arts, and they want to fight MMA, you know? Like, man, it was a lot rougher when I started. Not because it's a rough place and it was it. No, it's just because the people that wanted to do jiu-jitsu even 10 years ago, and that's so short in its history, man, they wanted to fight people.
Yeah.
They wanted to be a tough guy. They weren't there because it was fun.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's only because of the UFC and its popularity that it's become such a mainstream sport now. Now there's, you know, 30, 40 kids in a kids class. You know what I mean?
And that's the good and bad of things like social media, where it's given us exposure.
Yeah.
But then it's up to the person how they look at that exposure and
learn, for sure. And I think like
buy in.
For sure, man. And I think that's like a major reason for why some people don't do well at jiu-jitsu, because they're only there to take a picture for Instagram. You know what I mean? Or they're only there just to.
And then they work out pretty quick as hard.
Yeah, and then they, you know, come once a week or once a fortnight and take another photo and.
Yep. Throw that gear, get that gear.
But man, even with that, that's better than sitting at home and never going there and never challenge. Like, man.
Yeah, once you start, like, you get a person in once a week, and then they might be going,
and
you
then
they'll go, you know,
slowly they start to change. That's it. And then they twice.
I'm sure we see it all the time in training. Like, what person like, oh, I'll just start off with one, and then they get a taste for it, and they're like, oh, I might come again. Yeah, let's go.
You know, that's the best case scenario. You know what I mean? That's what you want. That's for anyone, man. Worst case scenario, you go there, you don't like it, try something else. You know what I mean? You're not gonna, nothing bad is gonna happen. You know what I mean?
That's fucking sick.
No one there's gonna, you know, cuss you out and say you're a horrible person and all this. Man, no, you're gonna go there, you're not gonna like it. Okay, and you lost one evening or 1 hour, whatever.
Go try the next thing.
Go try something else.
Plenty else.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your what would you say your toughest or favourite fight you've done in competition is?
Favorite fight? I don't know, man. Favorite fight? I don't know, man. I don't know. I never really thought about what's my favorite fight. I honestly...
Or proudest moment, maybe.
Proudest moment, man, probably getting like this third place in Abu Dhabi as a black belt after my knee surgery.
Yeah,
so
that's huge.
For me, you know, the funny thing is like, as sad it is to say, like, being like hindered physically actually helped me do better, because wasn't going as like my issue that I've had in jiu-jitsu, there's a few things that like I've had to try to overcome a little bit. Is one, like, this is a sport, you know what I mean? As much as I want to beat people and do all this stuff, like, there's rules and there's points and things like that, and going and, you know, like going for the win and going for the kill every time, man, can get me to a high standard, but it might not win me a world championship. So I have to make some adjustments, you know what I mean? That for me is super difficult, and I always struggle with that, even to now, because I don't want to do that. I don't want to play the rules. I don't care about that stuff. What I care about is, can I beat you if we train for 1 hour? If we train for 1 hour, how many times are you going to submit me? How many times are you going to submit you? That's what I care about. But, all right, there's a lot of other stuff attached to winning world championships. It's important.
You've got to play the game as well.
For sure. So that's something that I've always struggled with. And the other thing is, like, man, just believing the fact you can even do it. Like, for me, it's not that like people have specifically told you that, but being an Aussie in like this world of jiu-jitsu, you're not American, you're not a Brazilian, none of this, like, it's never expected for you to do well.
No.
There's always been this air like, I mean, you're going to be an easy fight, you're going to be an easy thing.
I mean, you would have had that a fair bit when you've rocked up overseas.
100%. And you know, that I think sometimes that's helped me, because they're like, fuck, this is going to be easy. And they're like, oh shit, what the fuck?
Hang on a minute.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, it's hard to say, like, those are probably the two biggest things that I struggle with, is understanding the fact you can't just do what you want. Like, you do, it is a sport. You do have to be tactical. And it doesn't mean that you can't look to submit people. You just have to make some adjustments.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That, and then the second thing is just believing the fact, like, man, you can actually win this shit. And that's come from experience, man.
Yep.
Like, I can be a world champion. I can, you know, be the best in the world that year or whatever.
Yep.
And it's just preparation and going there and performing. But I think not a lot, but some of the times that, you know, I've been on the cusp, and, you know, like, even saying all this stuff, I'm very harsh on myself. Like, I've competed like internationally for probably like 4 years, which isn't a lot compared to a lot of the other people that are competing. That, you know, most of the guys have been, you know, training and competing since they're 5-6 years old. You know what I'm saying? So for me to come in so late in life compared to everyone else and do so well, like, I am being harsh, but that's also what helps me improve very quickly. Like,
absolutely.
I'm always going to be harsh on myself. So, like, if you look at what I've done in terms of competition stuff, like, I started off not doing well in international competitions and losing here and there, and then medaling like 3rd place in world championships, and then as a black belt doing the same thing. So I've progressively gotten better and better and better, and way close to my goal in a very short period of time. So I'm happy about that. But there's always way more to improve on, and way
still
more.
At like 25. You're still young, bro.
Yeah, but
there's some time
you
left.
don't have a lot of time to be, you know, this type of athletic. You know what I'm saying? Like, you probably get a window of like 10 to 15 years, and then after that, you kind of disappear. So.
Yep. Masters tournaments.
Hey,
Masters circuit.
Yeah. That too, man. But, like, you know, that'll be there.
That's
in no
what I'm prepping for.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're closer to Masters than any of us.
No, but man, it goes in a flash, dude. You know, really, really, like, cherish this stuff, because it goes in a flash, man. I am only grateful for what's happened in my life. You know what I mean? Like, I've gone and met people in Brazil and America and Japan and all over the world, man. And they're all the best people because, man, I meet them in the same thing. I meet them doing jiu-jitsu.
Because you've had the opportunity to train in some of those places
Absolutely,
as well, not just competing.
I've been to Norway. I stayed with a guy called Felipe Moda. He's, man, very, very high level, old school guy. That so Gaha Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is where we train here in Brisbane. So anyone, just a quick shout out for Gaha. Kelvin Grove. There's a heap of other gyms and stuff like that there. So the head instructor there is Eduardo Diaz, and I teach a majority of the classes there now as well. Anton Mineko, and man, his childhood friend is a guy called Felipe Moda, and I went to Norway when I was a brown belt.
Eduardo knows everyone.
And man, because they all started at the same time, they just migrated all over the world. They figured out that, man, shit, dude, what, the UFC? What, I can make money out of this? Holy shit! So they're all over the world. And it's amazing, because it's this crazy network that, man, I can go and stay in Norway for a month, you know what I mean, and train and do this. Or I can go to America and stay for a month.
Go to Brazil.
And go there. You can go to Brazil.
Well, not right now, but...
Not right now, but, you know
COVID.
That's right, you know what I mean?
Fucked it for everything.
You can go to Japan, you can go wherever. There's somebody somewhere that is happy for you to be there, all right, because you can help out in their gym and stuff like that.
Yeah, fuck yeah. So before I get to that,
Yeah.
one more super. Before the big questions.
Okay,
Like the start was big, but
We're getting bigger.
we're going up.
Bombshell after bombshell.
Yeah, it's
So you
literally.
think, I guess listening to you talk, the big goal and where your head space is at is the world championship.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
100%.
and you want the big goal. You want that
100%.
gold.
Yeah. So, look, man, I want to do well in all sorts of things. Like, I always thought about MMA when I was a little younger as well. I don't know if that's something that I'll do because I still want to achieve this. And I think it's more just about time. Like, the earlier I can do that, the more time I could focus on MMA if I wanted to. And if it takes me until, another 3-4 years to do that, that's what I'm going to focus on. Because this is my goal. I'm not going to look towards MMA or anything like that if I can't do this first.
Just zeroed the fuck in on that thing.
Absolutely, man.
Do it.
And again, man, I'm getting closer and I'm getting closer and I'm getting closer. And there's always new good guys coming through. And there's always... And, man, I'm totally open to the possibility I never do that.
Yep.
But I'm going to try. And that's what my goal is. And that's what drives me.
The challenge that you
Absolutely.
love facing.
But I really believe in my heart that I can do that I can be a world champion. And I can be like an ADCC world champion. I can be in the gi.
Yep.
I think that's something that, like, I like to do, man. I want to, across the board grappling, man. I want to be, a world champion.
No gi as well.
No gi, everything, man.
Yep.
I love everything, dude. Right now, a lot of like specialize in like I'm a gi submission grappler. I'm a no gi guy or whatever. So, I'm good everywhere. I'm very well rounded in jiu-jitsu. I'm not the best at certain areas, but I'm good at everything. Like I'm good at everything. I'm not like I'm very, very well rounded, man. I'm very happy in all positions. Like, man, I just enjoy this art. I enjoy competition. I don't have an issue with losing, man. Like, I don't like losing. I'm never going to be happy about that. But if I lose, it just gives me something to work on. It gives me more fuel, man. Like,
you'll just fucking fired up even another level.
Yeah, man, because I got something to work on now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you just go around smashing everyone ever, you're never going to get any better. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what challenge is, man. I'm looking for things to help me improve, to get better. That's my goal. And that's... So that, like I do want to be a world champion stuff, but the goal aside from anything is, man, I just want to get better every day. I want to get better next week and the next week and the next week. You know what I mean? If that leads to a world championship, which I think it will, that's great.
Yeah, I think
but I'm not going to stop there.
Yeah, it's just about time now.
That's how I feel.
Anton's a fucking beast, by the way.
Sorry?
This kid's a beast.
I figured very early on. Savage.
Oh, yeah. All right, are you ready for these?
These are the 10 most important questions of your life.
Okay.
Now, they're supposed to be, rapid fire.
They are what they are.
Can someone please block Tia's ears?
Yeah, she can't hear them.
Tia, go upstairs.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
You just say what comes in that head of yours.
Yeah.
Biggest lesson you've learned?
Be patient, man.
If you could live underwater, would you?
No.
What's your biggest challenge?
My mind, man. My mind.
Fucking good answer.
Now, is cereal a soup? Now, wait. If it isn't a soup, why not? And if it is, why is it a soup?
Okay, so is it a soup and why?
Yep.
I'm going to say it is a soup. We're talking technically here, all right?
He gets it.
It's a soup. It is a...
I don't believe so.
I thought I was going to say no because of the temperature, but people have cold soups.
You can have fucking cold soup.
Have cold
exactly.
Soups. People have cold soups.
Yeah.
But
It is a watery liquid substance. You can even have coconut milk soup. So that's the one other thing that I was like, man, is it because it's a milk and not a water? No, you can have milk-based soups.
Yep.
So it's
eat it with a spoon.
And you eat it with a spoon,
Yep.
and it has like solid particles in there. I'm gonna say it's a soup.
Well played. Finally, someone who understands. What conspiracy theory do you think is real?
Shit, what conspiracy theory is real? I'm not real big on that. I don't know. What's a good one to get involved in? I don't know.
Oh, you could get around aliens. Everyone likes aliens.
Yeah, aliens. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff showing aliens are real. I watched a bit of the Joe Rogan stuff. There's always something about aliens on there.
We're on aliens. Sweet.
I'm sure there's a heap of shit that we're not aware of. The government's evil, whatever. Yeah. All that kind of shit. That's true for sure, man. There's no way they're totally.
Yeah.
What's one of your rules?
One of my rules. This is not one of my rules, but this is a funny rule. So, very small tangent. Always pack one extra pair of underwear for the amount of days that you're there in case you shit yourself.
That's good advice.
That's actually a really good rule.
really good rule.
So
100%. I've always got a spare pair of undies.
Just in case.
I like to consider that for powerlifting as well.
Yeah, 100%. Especially
for powerlifting.
Especially
So I
learned
learned this rule in Norway when I went.
The hard way?
No. No. I think the other guy did though. So the guy I learned it from might have. So yeah, I went to Norway for a jiu-jitsu competition when I was, I don't know, probably like 20 or something like that, or 19 or whatever. And one of the guys there at the gym from Norway told me that rule, and, you know, he got super shit-faced the night before, and, you know, he already competed because he competed earlier in the week, and I was competing maybe that day or the next day or whatever. But, man, I was like, what the fuck? How many underwears did you pack? He's talking about it. He said, I packed 13. Oh, but we're only here for 12. He's like, yeah. But make sure you always pack one just in case you shit yourself. And man, it was the funniest thing ever.
Fuck, that's a
very,
life
very
lesson
good
right
life
there.
advice, man.
Would you join a cult?
Oh, man, I think jiu-jitsu is kind of a cult, I guess,
Yeah,
or
baby.
any type of community that's I'm already a part of one, I
You're
guess.
already in
So
it, yeah.
like,
Fuck yeah.
it just doesn't come with all the negative shit. Like you have to sleep with this guy to get up in power and shit like that. You just go there and enjoy life. You know what I mean? So a little bit of a different cult, not the same thing.
Now, how many chickens is it going to take to kill an elephant?
Fuck, man, 75.
Yeah, sweet.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If life
A
was
lot.
a video game, what cheat code would you like to have?
Cheat code. Man, I don't know, man. I think the cheat code is everything we talked about, dude. I think just figure this shit out. That's the cheat code. It's already available to you.
It's already there.
It's already there,
Special
man.
combination of
There's no- yeah.
buttons.
There's no combination of buttons or algorithm or coding. Man, just fucking find something you enjoy, dude.
Now, you've just been arrested, Anton.
Yes. What did I do?
Well, you're going to tell us. What does your family assume you've been arrested for? Because they don't know.
Okay. I don't know, man. Shit. What does my family assume I've been arrested for? Okay, all right. I don't know, man. Are we talking like a legit crime or
Any
I
kind of
can
crime
make
you
it
like,
up?
bro.
All right.
I don't know what you're doing.
Nah, what would I get arrested for? Probably like just consuming copious amounts of food, man. Like I didn't
Too much food.
Too
yeah.
much food, bro.
You're
Too
like
much.
Homer Simpson from
Homer
that
Simpson.
episode.
That's right.
He gets
Yeah, he
kicked
gets
out of
kicked out because he had too much.
That's right. The all-you-can-eat buffet. They're closing down. They're like, what the fuck? He's still
I've
doing
actually
here?
been in
Yeah.
one of those situations too, where we got kicked out. That's another story, but
You don't want to leave. You paid for your meal.
yeah,
Come on,
that
bro.
was what we argued.
That's right.
And we were in an eating competition.
That's when the police are getting called and I'm getting arrested. Same situation.
yeah,
That's the best.
bullshit. That's it.
That's it, mate. That was one of probably a brilliant episode, but one of
Episode 50. Yeah.
we don't know that for sure, so we can't confirm that. But where can people find you if they want to get in contact, learn a little bit more about what you do?
So I got a heap of stuff. I'll just talk about a few things. So obviously you can find me on Instagram, Anton Mineko BJJ. So just go on Instagram if you want to DM me, ask me any questions or have a look at stuff. But I got a heap of other stuff that I'm doing. So I got a few like online things that are about to start. So you know, through COVID and everything, you have to kind of figure out some other ways to kind of sustain yourself financially and stuff like that. So just probably. I got two main things that are happening online. So one of them's called BJJ 101, and it's just going to be like a technical library that's going to be available to anyone online. And there's like a subscription membership and stuff like that. Like the way I kind of try to explain things is like really focus on getting people to understand what you're trying to achieve in terms of what you're doing when you're, you know, like physically trying to dominate another human being. So I talk a lot about like the conceptual things that will help you do that, and then there's a heap of techniques and stuff like that, and that's probably going to be available in about a month or so. I'm just like figuring out the rest of the website stuff.
That's awesome, man. We'll put all the links in the show notes for sure.
And
What else you doing?
and also I have one other one. So I also have a boot camp that I do on Sundays and things like that. And again, if you want to check out my Instagram and stuff like that, that's all on there, and you can talk to me about that. But I have one other online thing which is about like home workouts and things like that.
Yes,
a little bit different to this stuff. A lot of kettlebell stuff, a lot of body weight stuff. So really, really simple. It's called Grapple Move. All right, so.
Nice.
That's all available on Instagram and online and everything like that as well. But it's nothing too crazy, but it's a lot of the stuff that I use, some mobility things and stuff like that, and just to kind of get into a little bit better shape. But man, I'm really enjoying the kettlebell stuff at the moment. Man, really, really good for grappling and wrestling. Man, it really works on grip strength and all sorts of full body movements. So. Yeah, if you want to check out any of that stuff, it's all available online. You can talk to me on Instagram, or you can just go straight to the website. So that's grapplemove.com. Yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Got boot camps happening, all sorts of little things kind of coming out of the woodwork now to make some more stuff happen.
Well, we'll put that in the show notes, man. Thank you so much for giving up your afternoon, and we loved having you on.
Man, I really enjoyed it. So
you come back.
You're coming back after you win that world championship.
All right, man, awesome.
Done.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, brother. We'll get better at it.
All right, no worries.
He's good. Johnny's good.
Yeah, I'm real good.
Niall's good.
Need a shower, but
We don't know if Niall's good. Anton's
I don't have time
good.
for that. I'm all good, man.
And Cambo, you good? You ready to applause and fucking listen?